Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I enjoyed the heck out of that All-Star Saturday night as a whole, man. The performances were really, really good. You got to take your hat off to all the contestants involved. Uh, a couple of highlights there from just off the top of my head. You got to give credit to Mac McClung, really putting on a fantastic dunk contest, man. I thought that the judges kind of took away from the performances in a way by judging in some weird and wacky ways. Trey Murphy was involved in some fantastic dunks as well down the stretch in the finals there. But it was just a really nice overall clean Saturday night performance. Not too much hoopla. Just a nice clean set of situations. You had the skills competition that was really good, where they paired up a couple of rookies, uh, Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith, and who else did he have in there? Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith, and it was a third guy. I forget. Jaden Ivey. That's who they had in there. It's a skill competition, and they put Giannis and his two brothers along with Drew Holiday as an honorary Antetokounmpo. And then they had a couple guys from the Jazz, Clarkson, Kessler, and who was that third guy they had in there? Colin Sexton in there. And they ultimately were the ones that walked away and brought it home for the home Utah Jazz crowd. Um, I just really thought it was a good night. The 3 point contest was fun as well. Tyrese Halliburton had a 31 piece. 31 is what he scored in his first round, but ultimately it was Dame Lillard who was able to take him down in the finals there. Julius Randle was in the 3 point contest, which I thought was pretty interesting, given the fact that he's not a 3 point shooter. And I thought that was kind of backwards, given that Trey Murphy, I feel, could have possibly been a great contestant in the 3 point contest, given the fact he's better than a third of the 3 point shooters in that contest. And they had him in a dunk contest. So I thought that was kind of fascinating. But anyway, it didn't take away from the fact that he put on a fantastic dunk performance as well, and found himself in the finals there next to Mac. But ultimately, Mac was able to take that home. And I wish I would have got on camera and told you guys my predictions. I wasn't thinking about it today, but I did predict that Dame Lillard would win the 3 point contest. I can't prove it now, but I had that right. I did have that right. And Mac McClung wearing a Philadelphia 76er jersey irks my nerves as a Laker fan, knowing that that's our kid, knowing that that's one of our young players that we just didn't give a chance to because we were too busy doing other things with our point guard position that we had absolutely no business doing. So I just want people to know that Mac McClung is a Laker. He's been with our friend, our South Bay Lakers probably for the last 2 years, and we we did not call him up one time to the big team, and he was killing it with South Bay the whole time. So the fact that Mac McClung was able to dunk the ball the way that he did tonight in the dunk contest and win it was no surprise to us Laker fans who've been watching him for the last couple years. He's basically another Caruso that we didn't call up. Frustrated about that, extremely frustrated about that. But nevertheless, want to congratulate Mac and Dame and the Utah Jazz trio for killing it on Saturday night and ultimately putting on one of the better performances. I thought this was a better dunk contest, although I gotta say, Jericho Sims, man, I don't know what you were thinking with that 50. He pulled down a move where he put his arms in the rim and then had somebody clip um, I guess an envelope, as if you're opening up the envelope for the reward or something. And he clipped it up there for him to kind of grab. And I guess homeboy went up there and decided he was going to dunk the ball, put his arm in the rim, pull down the uh, the envelope and open it up, and it showed a 50 in it. I just thought that was the worst. That was the worst dunk I've seen in a long time, man. So I just want to throw that out there. That for creativity, I didn't love it. I didn't love that. But yeah, man, great night, great festivities. They honored Karl Malone, given the fact that it was in Utah. And I thought he was a harsh judge, man. Giving people 46s on stuff that I thought was 50s. Giving guys 48 on stuff I thought was 46. Just a lot of wacky stuff coming out of Carl's side of the judge table, if you ask me. But I thought it was a good night ultimately of all-star performances, man. I really did. Sometimes, some years, it's too much about everything that goes on around the performances. But this particular one, I thought that was just, they zeroed in on all of the festivities and left a lot of the extras out. Um, I kind of like the format of the skills competition too. They switch it up every single year. But this year I thought it was kind of interesting. They split up passing, shooting, and what was it? And various different dribbling um, exercises into different separate categories rather than have them dribble, pass, and layup. They were having them just pass and kind of work together and try to make different passes, chest passes, bounce passes, and various, I think, overhead or something like that. It was a lot of different things that they were trying to accomplish with the skills competition. I thought ultimately kept us more engaged than normal. It made it more fun, but I just think they got to still tweak it because it was split into three parts. Two of the three were good, but once you got down to shooting, that wasn't fun to watch. Some dudes continue to clank over and over again. But I thought the passing aspect of it and the other aspects of it were rather engaging. So, yeah, I thought the NBA did a good job this year. So far, so good. Of course, tomorrow's the All-Star game, and we'll be excited to see everybody suit up for that. But overall, I thought this was one of the more fun Saturday nights. Usually you sit there and you say, oh, okay, the three-point contest was fun, but the dunk wasn't, or the skills competition was fun, but the three-point contest was kind of lacking. Not this year. I thought all three competitions kept my engagement, were good, and to have a good dunk contest was really fun, given the fact that how many years in my lifetime have I said there wasn't any good. This wasn't one of those years. I thought the judges weren't really giving us much to appreciate, but the dunks themselves were pretty good. The exception of Jericho Sims putting his arms in the rim twice. Just got to do better, man. That's what it really comes down to. But overall, Mac knocked it out the park, man, with some memorable dunks that were just impossible. A double pump under the leg, jumping over people, all kinds of stuff, man. And then Trey Murphy had some fantastic dunks as well, twisting his body in different ways, and you could just see that, the game is elevating. Those two players particularly, you got to give Trey Murphy his credit. He didn't miss a single dunk. Every one of his dunks he made on the first try. I just thought that the judges were kind of harsh on him. But at the end of the day, I still thought that Mac Miller's dunks were, I just call him Mac Miller. I've been calling him that all day, my bad. But Mac McClung, rest in peace to Mac Miller. But Mac McClung's dunks were ultimately just better. You know what I mean? Just better. And so I didn't think the judges actually determined that at all. I think the fans probably would have gave it to Mac McClung anyway. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, man. That's got Mac Miller on my mind, man. I don't know why, but shout out to him and his family, of course, man. Great MC, but it is what it is. Shout out to everybody in this All-Star break situation. Can't wait for tomorrow's festivities. We're going to be giving you a little more coverage. Just wanted to kind of take a day off to reflect on some things today. But, of course, tomorrow I'll be right back at it on this channel, enjoying the festivities in the All-Star break in Utah. And from my apartment, of course. We ain't going to be going to Utah. But you know what I'm saying, you guys? We're going to keep it pushing forward. And, of course, I appreciate everybody for rocking with BDF 44. I'm out.